Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire.
Fastball on the outside corner gets them. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Jared Weaver.
The 1-2. And he got him. Strike three. Verlander carves him up. It is a heavyweight matchup in the Motor City today. Welcome to Comerica Park. Verlander, Weaver in the final game of this four-game series featuring the Los Angeles Angels and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, glad to have you with us for the series finale here this afternoon. Rod Allen will join us in a moment. You know, every now and then you get one of those pitching matchups that makes you sit up and take notice. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today is the day here at Comerica Park. Two of the top pitchers in all of baseball get together here this afternoon. It's Angels ace Jared Weaver, who's going for his 9th consecutive victory, a record of 14-4. He leads the American League with a 1.79 ERA. On the other end, Justin Verlander. He has a 9-game winning streak in his back pocket this year, a 14-5 record. He leads the American League with 169 strikeouts. So when we say heavyweight matchup, we really mean it here this afternoon. Two guys that can strengthen their case for the Cy Young Award in the American League, and they will go at it here this afternoon. Glad to have you with us. Starting lineups and the first pitch right around the corner. In the meantime, we go back to the Call Sam Studios now. Here's Shannon Hogan. And Verlander takes care of it.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Blake.
Breaking ball, and down he goes.
Moreland strikes out swinging.
The second no-hitter It is a gorgeous day for baseball here in the Motor City. Plenty of sunshine, clear skies, and we have Verlander and Weaver hooking up in the final game in this 4-game series featuring the Los Angeles Angels and the Detroit Tigers. Here is the pitching report, I should say, brought to you by Ace Hardware on Justin Verlander as he faces the Los Angeles Angels.
Well, first and foremost, Verlander has dynamic stuff. Tigers fans, they know that. He has a fastball that gets up to 100 miles an hour. But there's a lot of guys that are walking around that have good stuff. But what makes him really good is his tremendous makeup.
Here's the starting lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealer. And this is how the Angels line them up this afternoon. For Los Angeles, MAICER, IZTURIS, Torrey Hunter, and Bobby Abreu. The top 3 hitters in the lineup. Vernon Wells in left field. Alberto Callaspo at third base. Eric Ivar, the shortstop. You've got Trumbo, Borges, and Mathis rounding out the lineup for the Halos.
Let's take a look at how the Tigers will line up defensively. It's brought to you by Beaumont Health System. You've got Bosch and Jackson and Ordonez in the outfield. You've got Kelly at third today. Peralta and Guillen up the middle. Victor Martinez, he's at first. Avila, he's behind the dish. And JV, he's on the mound.
So Verlander ready to go to work, and he will face MAICER IZTURIS to lead things off on a gorgeous afternoon here at the ballpark. Plenty of sunshine. And we are ready for baseball. The first pitch of the ball game is a ball outside to MAICER IZTURIS. IZTURIS 3 out of 8 in the series, batting .275 with 5 home runs. Here is Verlander's 1-0 pitch. And it's in there, a strike 1-1. 87 degrees our game time temperature. A little bit outside, 2 balls and 1 strike on IZTURIS, who right now is enjoying a 5-game hitting streak. IZTURIS trying to get it going offensively for the Angels. A couple of nights ago, MAICER with a home run against Rick Porcello to start the game.
Porcello was awesome after that.
2 balls, 2 strikes on IZTURIS. Angels come in at 59 and 48. The Tigers at 56 and 51. Driven in the air to center field on a line. Jackson will come on to make the play. We're right about chest high. 1 gone. A reminder, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get yourself a free small order of curly fries. Torrey Hunter now will step in with 1 out. Hunter also enjoying a 5-game hitting streak. It's been slow to go for him since the All-Star break, but he has perked up. And he looks at strike 1 from Verlander.
Hunter has some pretty good numbers against Verlander in his career, and he can't explain why. He said Verlander is not fun to watch. He says you don't really pick up the ball all that well against him, but yet a .300 batting average for Hunter against JV.
And Verlander quickly ahead, 0-2. Hunter has hit safely in 8 of his last 11. Has an RBI in the series.
The majority of those at-bats for Hunter against Verlander when he was wearing a Minnesota Twins uniform.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Tigers going for the split in the series. Angels won it yesterday behind Dan Herron, who has manhandled the Tigers this year. 1-2 is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Verlander reached back for 95 there. Here's the 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss. Hunter goes down. Verlander has his first of what we anticipate will be a few strikeouts today.
First breaking ball of the afternoon by Justin Verlander, and it's an outstanding breaking ball with tremendous depth. It looked like a fastball, stayed on fastball plane until Hunter swung right over the top of it. That last shot was a really nice look at the arm swing that Verlander gets on all of his pitches. I mean, he was literally reaching back towards center field.
Here's Bobby Abreu, the designated hitter today. Verlander missing inside and low. 1-0 the count on Abreu. 3 hits in the series, including a triple off Turner yesterday. Did not score, though. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's in there, a strike, 1-1. Verlander career against these Angels. 3-4 with an ERA of 4.13. He was outdueled by Dan Herron back in Anaheim earlier this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bobby Abreu.
Not many have been able to outduel Justin Verlander this year. But as you mentioned earlier, Dan Herron has been really good against the Tigers in a couple of starts this year. Only 1 earned run Herron has given up against Tigers batters. And they got some guys that can swing the stick.
They do indeed. And they had only a couple of hits the first time they faced him out in Anaheim. Missed it high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Verlander came in leading the league in strikeouts. He has 170 now with the strikeout of Hunter. And we'll see if they can finish off Abreu. Here's the 2-2. Missed it inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Abreu hitting just .264. He has 4 home runs this year. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Popped him up foul, back out of play.
Angels real quiet at the trade deadline this year. Mike Scioscia told me a couple of days ago that they would be somewhat quiet because they feel like Abreu, Wells, and Hunter, a couple of their big bats in the middle of the batting order, have yet to really perform the way they're capable of performing this year.
Leland says it all the time. You need guys that are certainly going to contribute the other parts of your lineup, but in the end you need the big boys to produce, and certainly Abreu has been a big boy in many lineups. Another foul, back out of play.
Jim calls them guys that can drive a runner in from first base. He says a lot of guys can drive that runner in from second, but it's the big boys that could get a guy to score from first, or the guys that you like in the middle of your batting order.
Full count on Bobby Abreu, just underway here at the ballpark. 2 out, nobody on. And down he goes. Abreu strikes out swinging. Second of the game for Verlander. And a 1-2-3 start for JV. Today is presented to you by Big Boy, and for Jim Leland this afternoon, Austin Jackson will lead it off. He'll play in center field, followed by Bosch and then Maglio. Cabrera DHing, then Martinez and Peralta. Your bottom three today is Guillen, Avila, and Kelly. Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Jared Weaver. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
This is the first for me. We've heard of the two-seam fastball. We've heard of the four-seam fastball, but Weaver uses no seams when throwing his fastball, anywhere from 82 to 94 miles an hour. He also has a great changeup. As a matter of fact, he likes it so much he'll throw it on 3 consecutive pitches to certain guys.
Here's Austin Jackson to lead it off for Detroit. Jackson has a 7-game hitting streak right now. He's 4 for 10 in the series with a double.
This might be one of those days where he utilizes his skills to bunt. Runs probably are going to be at a premium this afternoon with Verlander and Weaver on the mound.
0-2 on Jackson. Weaver, a native of Northridge, California, 28 years old. And he slings strike 3 in there on the outside corner. Jackson is carved up on 3 pitches.
Let's take a look at the Angels defensively. It's presented by Tim Hortons. In the outfield, they have basically 3 center fielders in Wells and Borges and Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter has won 9 Gold Gloves, all 9 of those Gold Gloves coming from the center field position when he was wearing a Minnesota Twins uniform.
Here's Bosch now with 1 out. Bosch at 294. Also has 4 hits in the series, including a home run and 3 RBIs. Here's Weaver's 1-0 pitch. Right back up the middle into center and sizzling right by Jared Weaver. First hit of the ball game for either side.
When you throw that fastball down and away to a very aggressive hitter like Brennan Bosch, and he's not really thinking about pulling it, this is exactly what the hitter's going to do. The ball's down and away. You simply think about taking what he gives you. Tremendous concentration by Bosch, and the ball whistled right past Jared.
So Bosch continues to have a big series.
You can't draw a left-handed power swing up any better than that last one that Bosch delivered.
This is 5th hit in the series in 12 at-bats, and it sets up Maglio now with 1 on, 1 out. Ordonez at 234, a couple of hits in the series. He is one of the Tigers we highlighted before the game tonight that has had good success against Jared Weaver. 6 for 15 for a .400 batting average. The 0-1. Make it 0-2 on Ordonez. I mentioned that Verlander's number is a little bit elevated lifetime against the Angels, where Weaver is not had a whole lot of success against Detroit in his career. In fact, his ERA lifetime is 5.68 against Tigers hitters. So while these two are cruising along this year against their respective opponents, historically they've not been all that dominant. The 1-2. Line drive caught right by the second baseman is IZTURIS. He hit it the other way, but 2 gone.
It's a nice job by Brennan on first base. Your natural tendency on balls hit on the line or to at least take 1 or 2 steps toward the next base. As soon as that ball was hit, Brennan was thinking about getting back to the bag.
Here comes Cabrera. Miguel today is DHing. And Weaver fires home a strike. 0-1.
With Victor Martinez being added to the Tigers roster this year, Jim has taken the luxury of giving Cabrera quite a few blows by DHing him on certain days.
It's a good thing for Cabrera, who goes out there every single day for Detroit. Very rarely does he get an entire day off. where he doesn't DH. He also has good numbers against Weaver. Home run, .333 lifetime average. Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Cabrera.
Most of Weaver's fastballs will be right around 89 to 91 miles an hour. Every now and then he'll throw you a fastball up in the strike zone. And he'll get about 94 with that one. It's more of a straight fastball, but he doesn't usually throw that pitch for a strike.
Way high.
I was talking to Mike Butcher a couple of days ago, their pitching coach, and I asked him, have there ever been any thoughts of trying to clean up Weaver's delivery of throwing back across his body when the Angels first signed him? He said no. He says that's what makes him good. He says if you straighten him up, he just becomes an average guy with a 92, 93 mile per hour fastball. So the deception comes from the body and the delivery.
High fly ball hit a ton to right field, but it's going to stay up and fall into the glove of Torrey Hunter as Cabrera flies out to end the inning. No runs, a hit, and one man left. We go to the second. No score. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or see your local dealer today. And by Arby's. Try the new Angus Cool Deli Sandwich only at Arby's. It's good mood food. Perfect day for baseball here in the Motor City. The Tigers and Angels wrapping up a 4-game series. Angels have won 2 of the first 3. And we've got the heavyweight pitching matchup that so far is scoreless as we go to the second. And Verlander stands in against Wells, Callaspo, and Ibar. Justin striking out 2 in that first inning. Vernon Wells 1 for 9 in the series, batting .215. First pitch is a bit outside from Verlander. 1-0. 16 homers, 41 driven in for Wells. Who, after a really slow start this year, has come on toward the second half of the year. Vernon now 21 driven in his last 29 games. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 on Wells. Verlander coming in 4-1 during day games this year, and his ERA is minuscule, a little bit over 1.32. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's lifted in the air to center. Jackson coming on. 4 up, 4 down against Justin. He's going to bring up Callaspo. Pretty good series for Callaspo, 3 for 7, including a double. Batting .295. And he drives one back towards second. Nice backhanded play by Guillen. Got him by a step. Two gone.
Ball hit hard by Callaspo. Nice Sunday hop to Carlos Guillen. He takes a couple of steps to gather himself, and then a firm throw back to Victor Martinez to get Callaspo by a couple of steps.
Here's Eric Ibar.
Carlos has looked good at second base since coming off the disabled list.
Ibar is showing bunt, looks at a strike. Well, that's a good thing because obviously it's kind of been a revolving door at second base for the Tigers ever since Guillen went down. But if he can give you anything defensively with his offense, Jim Leyland has certainly plugged that hole. The 0-1. High, towering fly ball. Shallow center field. Looks like another 1-2-3 for Justin Verlander, and it is. No runs, no hits, nobody left.
Cy Young candidates this late in the season, but that's exactly what you have here in Weaver and Verlander, but they get it done in different ways. Take a look at the waist bend by Weaver and how he violently pulls his left shoulder and head toward first base, which creates difficult angles for the opposing batters. Then you have Verlander, who's pretty much perfect in his step, his delivery, and his windup.
Victor Martinez leads it off in the Tigers' second inning.
But Weaver says he needs to be that way to have the kind of success that he's enjoyed in the big leagues. He doesn't have a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, and he recognizes that.
Now the 1-0. Well, Weaver had a 4-game losing streak in the month of May, but since that 4-game skid, he's gone 8-0 with a 1.28 ERA. In search of his 9th consecutive victory here today. Verlander has done that this year. He's won 9 straight. 1-2 on Victor. So in every sense of the imagination, you've got really 2 of, if not the top 2 pitchers this year in the American League.
No doubt about that. Of course, there are some people in New York that would argue CC Sabathia's case.
One and 2 on Martinez. pulled foul.
Weaver will go anywhere from 69 to the mid-80s with his breaking ball. He also has a slider. He has a great changeup. He'll use that in 3 consecutive pitches to a certain guys. And we've talked about the fastball that gets up to 94.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Victor 4 for 13 in this series. And he's hitting now nearly 400 with men in scoring position this year.
That's the best in the American League.
Here's the 2-2. Driven back up the middle into center.
And 2 strikes, really no issue for Victor.
Tigers had their second hit, both singles up the middle. Hey, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game today, presented by the Angus 3rd Pounder Deluxe. Using your cell phone, text Tigers, followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. Or you can vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com. I'm going to go with Verlander today. Who do you want?
Hey, by the way, I would have won you a couple days ago when I took V-Mart.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
I started to text you after the game.
I'll give it to you.
I started to text you.
You're one up on me.
I'm going to take V-Mart again today.
Are you?
I am.
All right. Here's Johnny Peralta. I was hoping you were going to forget about that.
I didn't forget. I started to let me text him right now.
Leadoff man on Peralta at 319. Looks at ball 1 as it bounces in. Smothered by Mathis. Johnny, pretty good numbers against Weaver as well. 9 for 22. He's homered against Weaver.
And Trumbo playing a couple of steps in front of that bag against Victor Martinez. Victor does not vacate first base often when he's on the bag. He's usually not trying to steal.
There are the numbers. 409 against Weaver. Weaver's given up only 6 home runs this year in 161 innings.
He plays in a park really where the ball doesn't fly all that favorably during the evening. Of course, at Angel Stadium during the day, the ball does fly out of there, but not at night.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Peralta.
You talk to right-handers that go up against Weaver, and they will tell you it's all about deception. And usually that's a word that we use regarding left-handed pitchers, where it looks like the lefties are throwing behind the left-handed batters. You don't usually talk about deception as far as a right-handed pitcher is concerned. But that's what Weaver creates by stepping toward that Tigers dugout with that left foot, then throwing back across his body.
Which would seem to be a nightmare for right-handed batters as Peralta goes down swinging.
You would also think that it would be very, very difficult from a mechanical standpoint for Weaver to repeat his delivery. But he really has no problem repeating his delivery. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, said every now and then he'll start to step too far or toward that third baseline, and then you have to sort of bring him back. But by and large, he is very good.
Well, Weaver goes 6-7. Isn't that usually an issue with guys that are tall on the mound repeating delivery?
Yes, that's a great point.
6'7", 215, slender build. As Guillen stands in, he'll get back out of play.
He can throw any of his pitches over the plate for a strike in any count, just like Justin Verlander can. Which is kind of stunning to me that so many of the Tigers hitters have such great numbers today against Jared.
Yeah, they've hit him pretty good. We told you his ERA is a little under 6 career against Detroit hitters. 0-1. 2 for 11 in the series for Carlos, and he waves and misses. 0-2. Trading deadline starting to wind down now. 4 p.m. today is the deadline. Tigers, of course, making a deal yesterday, bringing Doug Fister over. David Pauly as well. There's a strike called. See you later. And Carlos is out of there. A strikeout, Victor.
That's the fastball that if you're a left-handed batter, from the angle that he throws from, it looks like it's going to hit you. Take a look at Carlos jackknife out of the way ever so slightly, because it looks like that ball's coming right at you. So you jackknife, and then the natural movement that Weaver features with that two-seam fastball, he can throw it over the plate. Or no-seam fastball, I should say.
So he has 3 strikeouts now. Here is Alex Avila. A couple of hits in the series for Alex, and he is batting .280 coming in. Strike 1. Avila had a chance to catch Jared Weaver at the All-Star game this year. Weaver pitched 1 inning as the starter for the American League.
Maybe he learned a little something.
Yep.
In that 1 inning that he caught.
Well, the one thing he said that he did learn about Weaver is that he has absolute pinpoint control most of the time. When he is on, he puts the ball where he wants it to, or where he wants to, especially his fastball, and that makes him extremely difficult. He's at 1-1 here now against Weaver with a man on and 2 out. Fly ball in the air to center. Routine for Peter Borges. And that is that for Detroit. No runs, a hit, 1 left, 2 in the books. And you're watching Tigers baseball, presented today by Bell Tire.
Can't worry about the other pitcher. Obviously, going out there, you know that somebody like Weaver who's pitching so well is going to limit your team to some runs. Hopefully not. Hopefully we score a bunch, but that's probably not going to be the case.
Well, I would imagine it's going to be tough for both teams to score runs today. Weaver and Verlander both are pitching shutouts as we go to the top of the 3rd. Justin has faced 6 batters, and he's gotten all 6, 2 via the strikeout. Weaver has scattered a couple of hits. And for the Angels here in the 3rd, it's going to be Trumbo, Borges, and Mathis.
What you have is a couple of top-notch pitchers that are not going to get caught up in the hype surrounding this game. I mean, people have been talking about this matchup for the last 10 days. And, of course, Verlander and Weaver knew they were going up against one another. But with that being said, they know they don't have to face one another either. It's all about getting the hitters out.
And Mark Trumbo will be the first man to face Verlander here in the 3rd. Well, as the month of August approaches now, and it's just about here, this is when you really start to zero in on who might win the awards this year. And these 2 guys are battling for a Cy Young, as you mentioned, with CC Sabathia as well. You can make a big statement by coming out and shutting out the other team today in this big matchup. There's a strike.
No doubt about that. There were a lot of people across the country watching this game today.
The one thing Verlander has this year that Weaver does not, obviously, is the no-hitter, which will stand out on its own. 1-1 to Trumbo is fouled straight back. Trumbo in the series has padded his numbers, 7 RBIs. He's 5 for 11.
He is probably the leader in the clubhouse as far as the Rookie of the Year in the American League, since we're talking about awards.
I would think so. The 1-2. Verlander just missed, and the count rolls now to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's the one thing, Verlander not making many mistakes these days with his breaking ball. Usually when he throws it, he is burying it at the bottom of the strike zone with tremendous depth.
Three and 2 on Trumbo. Angels now taking a look at some of their fine young prospects in their organization. Borges came up last year. He's in center field. You've got Trumbo. You've got Mike Trout, who's been called up, one of the top prospects in the entire game. Swing and a miss. Verlander takes care of Trumbo.
Absolutely filthy. Trumbo was not biting on the first few breaking balls that Verlander threw to him, but those were off the plate. So Verlander simply had to come a little bit closer to home plate because he had to throw a strike with the breaking ball, and Trumbo was fooled on this last curveball. Degree adrenaline. You use Degree?
I do use Degree. Do you?
I don't.
Yes, you do. There's the ball to Peter Borges. Borges batting .265. 2 out of 8 in the series with a couple of RBIs. And the 1-0 into the glove for strike 1.
Borges really hasn't done a whole lot of damage from an offensive standpoint in the season series against Detroit, but boy, has he made a difference defensively. He has taken away lots of hits and made really nice plays and decisions in center field for MAICER.
He made another fine one yesterday, and there's certainly a value to that as they wait for his bat to catch up to his defensive abilities.
And it's always a good thing for a young player if you're not really swinging the bat the way that you're capable of. You don't want to let that affect you defensively. We saw that with Austin Jackson in the month of April.
The 2-1. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Carlos gets to it. And Borges is out, 2 away. Game break time. Let's go back to the studio and check in with Shannon Hood. All right, Shannon, thank you. Of course, the Indians had their big walk-off win last night. They've had, what, 12 of those now this year?
Well, they got that walk-off win right after it was announced that they had acquired Ubaldo Jimenez from the Colorado Rockies. Stunning move by the Indians.
It was certainly quite a night for them, although they gave up a whole lot to get him.
Yeah, but with a guy like that, let's just say things don't work out for you if you're the Indians this year. You can turn around and trade Jimenez at the end of the year and get those prospects right back.
No doubt. Good point. The 0-1. 0-2 on Jeff Mathis.
The Indians are usually sellers. I mean, they were selling CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee, Victor Martinez, Peralta the last few years at the trade deadline, but not this year. They were buyers.
Here's the 0-2. Got him. Strike 3. That didn't take long. Verlander has his 4th strikeout. 2 more here in the 3rd. Another 1-2-3 inning. 9 up, 9 down. In the Hausers, Matt Stafford with the cap on backwards. Checking out some Tigers baseball today. Good to see the NFLers back on the field.
It sure is.
Should be an exciting season for the Lions. Jared Weaver back to work, and here is Don Kelly to start things off. Kelly, the number 9 hitter, then Jackson and Bosch. Tigers have a couple of singles. Bosch and Victor Martinez. Kelly looks at ball 1 outside, 1-1.
So Weaver likes to do a lot of. He likes to start that breaking ball off the plate to the left-handers, and they give up on it. And it ever so slightly catches the outside corner. There's that real slow breaking ball that I was telling you about that Weaver also features. That one at 70 miles an hour to Kelly. And he has great command with his pitch. Just kind of flips it up there.
Kelly ropes one foul down the first base line. Did you hear Leland this morning having some fun with Don Kelly?
No, I did not.
That's about 4 more hours till the trading deadline. About 4 hours till we get some pine tar and a bag of balls for you, Don Kelly. They both laugh, though.
And Don Kelly, he knows he's not going anywhere.
2-2. Well, he's contributed in a nice way.
Well, something said for a guy that can play every single position on the field and show you a little pop with the bat.
Check out the sweet countdown clock we have. 2 hours, 11 minutes, 46 seconds.
It's a big league show, buddy.
Yeah, it is. I never did doubt that. 2-2 on Kelly. Down 2 out of 4 in the series, batting .241. Skipper really happy to get Doug Fister in the fold and add him to the rotation. And again, the 2-2. Another foul.
Of course, we had a chance to see one of the top prospects in the Tigers organization make his debut yesterday, and Jacob Turner and Jim Leland talked about how happy he was at getting a chance to see his youngster Jacob Turner.
Here are the particulars on that deal that I'm sure you know of at this point. Furbush and Wells, and the minor leaguer Martinez, and a player to be named later as well.
Maybe Casper Wells will get an opportunity to play every single day. And if he does, he's going to put up some good numbers. He has 20 homer potential. And the way that Seattle is struggling for pieces offensively, he's probably going to get some playing time.
Oh, you would think so. No doubt. They are starved for any kind of power in that lineup.
So if you're Casper, it's bittersweet. It's tough to leave a team where you know they're going to put a quality big league team on the field every single day, but yet you're going to get an opportunity to play every day in the big leagues possibly.
This is the 10th pitch coming up in this at bat. And Kelly takes a walk.
Great at bat by DK. Hey fans, we invite you to check out the Fox Sports Game Connect, the fans' ultimate online experience. Log on and take part in the most interactive forum during Tigers games with stats, trends, live Twitter feeds, and more. It's Fox Sports Game Connect, available at foxsportsdetroit.com.
Leadoff man is on. Tigers have their 3rd base runner of the game.
This might be one of those days where we simply see a sacrifice bunt here from Jackson trying to put a run on the board against Weaver. He does not give up many runs.
And he shows bunt, pops it up, and Trumbo makes the catch from his first base position.
And I've also noticed that Jackson is not very comfortable in a sacrificing situation. He's much more comfortable when bunting for a base hit. And Jim might tell Austin the next time that we ask you to bunt, simply think of it as you're bunting for a base hit, because he doesn't look as comfortable bunting this way.
Why do you think that is?
I don't really know, but he drops the bat head there, and usually that's a bad sign when that bat head drops in the strike zone when making contact with the baseball in a bunting situation. You're going to bunt the ball up. But there's been many guys over the years that have been really good table setters that just don't look all that comfortable in a sacrificing situation.
Here's Bosch. Base hit back in the first. Brennan now with 5 hits in this series. Ball 1 to Brennan. Weaver came in with the best ERA in the American League. Double-digit winner in each of his first 6 seasons in the major leagues.
Let's take one more look at the Jackson approach here, and keep in mind that the barrel of the bat has to stay above the hands. It's starting in a good place now, but once it drops below the hands, as it does there on contact, that's where you pop it up. So rule of thumb, barrel of the bat stays above the hands, and if you do that, you create an angle where you're usually going to bunt the ball on the ground.
That was kind of textbook right there as a teaching point. We saw the bat dip way below. The 1-1. Bosch again leaving the strike zone, 1-2.
Mathis does a very nice job behind the plate at blocking breaking balls in the dirt. But if you're Don Kelly, this is a breaking ball count with 2 strikes and Weaver on the mound. So if he does bounce it, it makes sure that you're thinking about getting toward second base. Your momentum is carrying you toward second base. He wants the fastball up again to Bosch.
Brennan able to foul it off.
That's one of the differences between a guy like Weaver and another pitcher that may not have that kind of command. Mathis asked for the fastball up, and he pretty much hit Mathis's glove.
Angels for a few years had Mathis and Napoli as their catching duo. Mathis always considered more of the defensive catcher. There's another foul. Napoli has since moved on to Texas.
Napoli's having a pretty good year in Texas too. Quite a few home runs. I think he hit his 15th home run yesterday.
Gotta love hitting that ballpark.
Yep.
One ball, 2 strikes. We're in the 3rd, no score. Tigers have 1 on, 1 out. Driven to center field. Forges on the move. And Kelly has to retreat.
Weaver was determined in forcing Brendan Bosch to making contact on that elevated fastball out of the strike zone. He was not going to give him anything really too good to hit.
So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Ordonez. Maglio lined out his first time up to the second baseman is IZTURIS. Into the air, left field. That ball is way back, and that ball is gone. It's a home run. Maglio takes Weaver deep, and it's 2-0 Tigers. Detroit strikes first.
An 81-mile-per-hour changeup. It looked like it sped Maglio's bat up. He was looking for something else, which would be the fastball, and he turned on it. Actually, that was a breaking ball at 81 miles an hour by Weaver.
And he knew it all the way. Cabrera pops one up. First base side, Trumbo waiting for it, and that will end the inning. But the Tigers score first in this one. They get a 2-run homer off the bat of Maglio. Ordonez puts the Tigers ahead. What would you do for a Klondike bar? Well, Jared Weaver has given up a 2-run homer to Maglio Ordonez. Tigers on top now 2-0. And for Weaver, a little bit upset after giving up that 2-run shot. It was Ordonez, 4th home run of the season, and his first since July the 8th.
Only the 7th home run Weaver has given up this year.
Right. That one certainly came in handy for Detroit.
Weaver got himself into a little bit of a pattern in that last half inning, and you have to give Maglio some credit for sort of thinking about it when he went up there. On just about every hitter in that inning, he led them off with a really slow breaking ball. Maglio got one, of course, and drilled his.
Verlander, meanwhile, has retired 9 straight. IZTURIS fouls it back out of play, 0-2. He'll be followed by Torrey Hunter, then Bobby Abreu. Verlander came into this inning having thrown just 38 pitches through 3 frames. In fact, he had a 7-pitch second inning. Wave and a miss, and he struck him out. 5 strikeouts for Verlander. That'll bring up Torrey Hunter.
Nice fading changeup there by Verlander.
Justin continues to add to his league-high strikeout total with 5 more here this afternoon. And he had Hunter buckling out of the way there.
Wow. What a pitch. Well, looks like he's brought his A game once again here today.
Bouncing ball, third base side. Nice pick there on the short hop by Kelly. It's 11 straight retired by Verlander.
You don't have a lot of time at third base to determine whether you're going to come in or whether you're going to go back. And Kelly, of course, made a very tricky play there by taking the short hop.
Bobby Abreu struck out in the first. Ball 1 from Justin. And there's a strike, 1-1. Verlander came in with 14 victories here this afternoon. The last time the Tigers had a 14-game winner prior to August 1st was the World Series season of 1984 when Dan Petrie did it. The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Oh, Peaches.
Occasionally we see Peaches stop up in the booth. And that was back in '84 when the Tigers marched all the way to the World Series title. 2-1 on Abreu. Way high, 3 balls, 1 strike.
I wonder if Sparky Anderson gave Dan Petrie that nickname, because he never called him Dan. He never called him Petrie. All he called him was Peaches.
May have. Next time we see him, we'll ask him. Peaches every now and then stops up in the booth, so we'll write that down. 3-1 pitch is outside, and there's ball 4, and that's the first base runner of this ball game for the Angels. So the string of 11 straight retired comes to an end. It'll bring up Vernon Wells.
Don't forget about Abreu on first base. He has 14 steals this year, and if Verlander gives him an opportunity to do so, he will try to get on second base.
Bobby Abreu is just a guy that's done it all in his career. I mean, you talk about his stolen base numbers this year. He's hit over 500 doubles, 250 homers, and over 350 steals.
He has been the definition of a 5-tool player for a long, long time. Average, power, steals, arm, defense. And he's done it very quietly. Very quiet superstar. He's going to get some serious consideration for Hall of Fame. I don't know if he'll get there, but he's going to get a lot of consideration when it's all said and done.
Well, he plays a lot of games every year, and he rolls up a lot of numbers. So certainly, once he's done lacing him up, he'll definitely get some consideration. Draws another throw. Wells flied out back in the second. Tigers lead 2-0 on the Maglio Ordonez home run. Fouled straight back. Speaking of averaging some good numbers, Vernon Wells has done just that in his career. The last 9 years, he's averaged 25 homers, 36 doubles. That activity coming with the Toronto Blue Jays. That's fouled back out of play. 1-2 on Wells. Angels made a trade for Vernon, giving up Mike Napoli and Juan Rivera in that deal. Napoli was then spun to the Texas Rangers. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away again. Angels wrapping up a long road trip. Tigers have the Texas Rangers coming to town on Tuesday night. The top two teams in the West appearing on this homestand for Detroit. That's in the air toward right field. Ordonez cruising over, and that is that. No runs, a walk, one left. 4 in the books for Verlander. 2-0.
The Tigers open a 3-game series against the Texas Rangers. The first 10,000 fans receive a poster featuring the 2011 Tigers All-Stars. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
So many of them this year, you can barely fit them in the picture. Tigers had 5 go to the All-Star game. Weaver back at the hill in a 2-0 game. Strike one is the call on Victor Martinez.
And could have very easily had 6 with this guy right here joining that picture.
Victor finishing second in the final vote to Balkan Urko. 0-2. Martinez got Weaver for a single to lead off the second, but he did not score. 2-run shot by Ordonez, the difference today. Ball inside, 1-2. Victor came in 7th in the American League with his .317 batting average. Little nubber that goes foul. Verlander coming into this one today led the American League in strikeouts. It was Weaver that led the American League last year in strikeouts. And the Angels had not had a starting pitcher do that in quite some time. In fact, 1977, when Nolan Ryan did it. There's a bouncer to second base. IZTURIS gobbles it up. And Victor Martinez is out, one away. Now Johnny Peralta. Johnny, one of the strikeout victims for Weaver today. Jared has struck out 3 in this game. Fouled away, 0-1. Inside, back him out of there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Weaver coming into this one today had thrown 13 consecutive quality starts. You mentioned that rough stretch that he had. If call it a rough stretch. He had lost 4 straight in May, but since then has won 8 in a row. And the 2-1. He's trying to match the longest win streak of the year in the American League of 9 straight, and that of course was set by his counterpart today, Justin Verlander. So these guys seem to be intertwined all over the place.
And Johnny Peralta has worked the count in his favor, 3 balls and 1 strike. So you need to be sitting on your fastball. Doesn't mean you're going to get one, but you need to be ready for it. He was, and he left the strike zone. That would have been ball 4.
Instead, it's 3-2. And he got him, strike 3. Peralta tried to coax a walk, could not do it. 4 strikeouts for Jared Weaver. By the way, this game today is available in stunning high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Xfinity from Comcast.
Second strikeout of the afternoon from Weaver to Peralta, and with the same pitch. Peralta was swinging the last time he was up. This time he couldn't pull the trigger.
Here's Carlos Guillen. He struck out back in the second.
That last pitch, 84 miles an hour, it was straight. Now, they call that a BP fastball in the major leagues. And Weaver learned that pitch from Dan Herron, who pitched yesterday against the Detroit Tigers. Just kind of take a little bit off your fastball, and you'd be surprised at how many hitters pop that particular pitch up.
Here's the 1-1. What is considered good hitting speed on a fastball in the big leagues?
90 to 92 to 93 is really good hitting speed.
So if you dial it back to 88,
especially in a fastball count where a hitter is looking for that 92 or 93 mile per hour fastball. It's not quite the equivalent of a changeup, but you know, you back off about 5 miles an hour.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
We also told you that Weaver uses no seams with his fastball. He learned that pitch from Scott Shields, who was a very valuable member of that Angels bullpen when they were winning lots of games.
Boy, was he. They were running him out a lot, 70, 80 times a year with great success. Scott used to live in the Detroit area. I don't know if he still does.
I think he still is local.
Fouled off by Guillen. He stays alive. 3-2. Carlos is now 9 for 18 against Weaver. Trying to get something started here with 2 outs. Tigers on top by a pair on the Ordonez home run. And again, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. And Guillen goes down swinging for the 2nd time today. 5 strikeouts for Jared Weaver. We've played 4 here at the ballpark.
As good as advertised here today. Both guys are throwing lots of fastballs and breaking balls and changeups and commanding all of those pitches as we thought they would. But the one mistake by Weaver, a hanging breaking ball to Magli Ordonez, is the difference in this game so far.
2 runs, 3 hits for the Tigers. No runs, no hits for the Angels. You see the comparison between the two. And Weaver back at the hill in the 5th inning, facing Alberto Callaspo to lead it off. There's one thing we've seen, Rod, is that Verlander, and we've talked about how he saves 97, 98 for later in the game these days.
Right.
He's already touched 98 today.
Well, I mean, I think he understands that this team has given him some problems in the past. And when there has been a runner on the base paths, I think that's when Verlander really dials up to 98.
1 strike on Callaspo. And Verlander missing outside with the off-speed pitch, 1-1. Justin gave up a walk in the 4th inning to Bobby Abreu. That is it. He has struck out 5 in this game. He and Weaver each have 5 strikeouts. Good bender in for a strike, 1 and 2.
He is so good.
Another bender. That one just missed the outside corner. And it's 2-2 on Callaspo. Ibar and then Trumbo to follow, 5, 6, and 7 in Mike Scioscia's lineup. Popped it up. Shallow left center field. Who wants it? Bosch coming in. And Brennan hauls it in. One away. He's going to bring up Eric Ibar. He also flied out. Verlander has won his last 2. He's defeated Chicago and Minnesota, a couple of big wins within the division. And Verlander, you might recall, gave up 4 runs in his last start. But boy, when he needed to buckle down at the end of that game and face some big Chicago hitters, he did just that.
That 8th inning, epic. Yeah, but he has turned in really one eye-popping inning like that every single start.
High fly ball, shallow right field. Ordonez cruising in.
It's almost been like a running joke in the Tigers dugout when there's runners on second and third, less than 2 outs. Everybody kind of stands up because they know that Verlander can pitch himself out of that jam.
Here's Trumbo now with 2 outs. It's days like these where it's good to be Jeff Jones, pitching coach. It's usually going to be a stress-free day, and so far it has been. Trumbo struck out his first time. There's strike 1.
Also really nice if you're a middle reliever. You pretty much know when you come to the yard on that particular day, you can just kind of chill in that bullpen, and Verlander's not going to need you. Maybe Valverde.
Yeah, maybe. Here's the 0-1. Bouncing ball to short. Easy play there for Johnny. Trumbo's out. Another 1-2-3 inning for JB. He's been awesome through 5. Tiger Baseball presented by Bell Tire. Approaching rapidly on July 31st of what season were a record 31 players traded, including Carlos Guillen? What year was that where a record 31 players were traded on July 31st? That's your question. Carlos Guillen was among those traded that year. Alex Avila leads it off for Detroit as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Weaver coming off a 1-2-3 inning, a couple of strikeouts in the 4th. That was just his 70th pitch that he threw. And he'll face Avila, Kelly, and Jackson. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Avila fly to center field back in the second. Fly ball left field. Vernon Wells still going back. It carries to the warning track for an out. One gone here in the fifth. Time is ticking literally on the trading deadline. 1 hour and 36 minutes and counting. And there's already been a flurry of activity. Of course, Ubaldo Jimenez and Kosuke Fukudome have joined Cleveland.
Some good players have changed uniforms.
Beltran deal was a big one.
Edwin Jackson won his first game for the Cardinals yesterday. Pitched 7 innings. I believe he gave up 1 run in that game.
He's going to be a really big pickup for them, I think. Kelly, the batter, he walked and scored on the Maglio home run. Michael Bourne today was traded from the Astros to Atlanta.
They've traded Hunter Pence and now a Gold Glove winning outfielder in Bourne with really good speed.
0-2.
There's going to be a few more today, too.
You would think. Although time is running out.
Too many teams in contention. And not for there to be some more moves made. I think the teams that are buyers are kind of waiting till the price comes down a little bit.
Dave Dombrowski's been awfully busy. This is the time of year where general managers really come to the forefront, their importance.
He and his young son Landon sharing a laugh today.
Here he is. He knows when he's on camera, doesn't he?
Yes, indeed.
You're a star, Landon.
Landon plays some baseball himself.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And a little floater hit to third and caught by Cayaspo. 2 away. I guess when your dad is the general manager of the Tigers, you're going to have to play some baseball.
That's right.
So Austin Jackson will step in now with 2 outs. AJ struck out in the first, popped up in the third. Breaking ball in for a strike. One and two. Weaver came in today with a 1.79 ERA. The second lowest was Beckett at 2.17, then Verlander at 2.34. So 2 of the top 3 ERAs battling here today. Swing and a miss, and Weaver has himself another strikeout, give him 6 for the afternoon. Tigers again go 1-2-3. As we go to the 6th inning, it's 2-0 Detroit. On July 31st of what season were a record 31 players traded, including our own Carlos Guillen?
98.
1998. Of course, Carlos was involved in that Randy Johnson deal.
Big deal for Seattle. They got 3 real good players in that deal for Johnson.
Well, Verlander back at the hill, enjoying a 2-0 lead right now. First pitch is hammered foul down the left field line by Peter Borges.
Seattle also got Freddie Garcia in that deal from the Houston Astros and John Halama.
Borges 0 for 1. He bounced out back in the 3rd inning. The 0-1.
That's why this is a very difficult time for general managers when parting with very young talent at the minor leagues. You don't know if one of those guys is going to show up and be an all-star someday.
Swing and a miss. How valuable do scouts become this time of the year as well?
Very valuable. Your major league scouts and your minor league scouts that are watching all the young talent. If you're a buyer at the trade deadline, you're receiving young prospects.
2-2 on Borges. Mathis, and then is IZTURIS here in the 6th inning. Another breaking ball, but Borges laid off. Now it's 3-2. The only Angels base runner has been the walk to ABREU back in the 4th. Borges in the game yesterday walked, was hit by a pitch a couple of times, and sacrificed. Right back to the mound. Verlander will make an easy play. Borges is out. 1 gone here in the 6th. Here's Jeff Mathis. Verlander today has picked up 5 strikeouts. Mathis was one of those back in the 3rd. Here's the 1-0. Wow. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's had this knee buckling breaking ball all afternoon long. 61% of the pitches that Verlander has thrown today have been fastballs. Make that a little bit more. And that one at 99 miles an hour.
Verlander is also zeroing in on 100 career wins. He has 97 coming into play today. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away. 1-2 the count stays on Mathis, the number 9 hitter. Verlander has gone as high as 99 miles an hour in this game. And the 1-2 pitch. Fouled away. .100 miles an hour as Verlander tried to dust off Mathis. And he just got a piece of it to stay alive. Here comes the crowd now. Nice gathering here this afternoon. And again the 1-2. He got him, strike 3.
Oh my goodness.
Time for a game break. Let's go back to the studio. Here's Shannon Hogan. All right, Shannon, thank you. Here in the 6th inning, Tigers are on top by a couple, and a nice play by Victor. And Verlander covers, and IZTURIS is out. It's a 1-2-3 6th inning. Verlander cruising today.
It's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Only one bad pitch in this game by Weaver. It was a hanging breaking ball in the 3rd inning after he had walked Don Kelly to lead off that inning, and Maglia Ordonez got the Tigers on the board for 2 runs, and that's all they've scored so far today. Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost-Proof Coors Light.
Verlander has done the rest. And Maglio's home run the difference. It'll be Bosch, Ordonez, and Cabrera here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Weaver has retired the last 7 that he has faced since the home run by Ordonez. And Bosch lays down a bunt. It's going to stay fair, and he throws him out.
That's a nice job by Mathis, because that ball would have rolled foul. But he knew it was not a good bunt, so he could pick it up and still get Brennan at first base. Take a look at Mathis and the spin on this ball. It's headed foul before he picks it up.
A little bit risky as well, though, don't you think, with the way that Bosch runs and the tough throw this was going to be?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you got it by, I guess, 1.5 steps, 2 steps. So Bosch is retired, and here is Ordonez. Maglio 2-run shot in the 3rd was his 4th of the season. Ordonez now 7 shy of 300 for his career. That's his next milestone.
It almost looked like Maglio was looking for that ball somewhat inside, because he really opened up his hips, which got that barrel of the bat right over home plate, and he drilled it.
So far it has held up. High fly ball left center field. Bork just cruising over for this one in the gap to make the play. 2 gone. Nine straight set down by Jared Weaver. Here's Cabrera. Miguel is 0 for 2. Oh and 1. Weaver right now being outdueled by Verlander. He has given up 3 hits. He has fanned 6. The 0-1 pitch. Checked it. Did not go. Brian Knight, your first base umpire. And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Weaver last year was only 13-12, but a lot of that had to do with run support. Even though he won just 13 games, he finished 5th in the Cy Young voting last year. Little miss low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He had a whale of a career at Long Beach State, where in his final season he was 15-1 and just dominated college baseball. 213 strikeouts and only 21 walks. That's headed back toward the seats as well. Trumbo giving a look. Out of play. 2-2 the count stays on Mr. Cabrera. Temperature up to 90 degrees now here at the ballpark. It was 87 at game time. Swing and a miss. Cabrera goes down, and 7 strikeouts for Weaver, who has now retired 10 consecutive Tigers. 6 in the books as we go to the 7th. Still 2-zip.
All the highlights, reaction, and analysis. Tigers live from the Coliseum Studios and here at the ballpark immediately after the game on Fox Sports Detroit.
Tigers on top 2-0 in this one as we go to the top of the 7th now. Torrey Hunter will lead things off. The Tigers have made one defensive change. That would be Andy Dirks taking over in right field. And Maglio is out of the game as you look at the numbers on Justin Verlander. Through 6 innings, he has fanned 6. The only base runner against him was a walk to Bobby Abreu. Hunter looks at strike 1. Torrey is 0 for 2, strikeout. He grounded out back in the 4th. Now the 0-1. And Hunter is down to the count 0-2.
Hard changeup there by Verlander at 87 miles an hour. He doesn't usually throw his changeup that hard.
It's already had a rip at 98 miles an hour.
I have a feeling that the majority of the fastballs that we're going to see from this point forward from Verlander will all be in the mid to upper 90s.
Yep, I think you're right. He has thrown 79 pitches. That's it to this point. Checked it, and he did not go.
That's the newest pitch in Verlander's arsenal. It's a slider. And he's starting to feel a lot more comfortable with that pitch against right-handed batters.
Two and two. Swing and a miss. Hunter goes down. Oh, JV today, 7 strikeouts. He's feeling it right now. No match for the breaking ball.
I know we say this quite often, but clearly today, he's got a little bit more bite on that curveball.
Here's Bobby Abreu. Walk and a strikeout. To this point, their only base runner. Ball one. Breaking ball is outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Abreu. Way outside. Now the count goes to 3-0. And Verlander upset with that last pitch. And Justin taking a little extra time now as he walks around the mound. Here comes the crowd to help him out a bit. Strike call. Justin has only gone to a 3-ball count 5 times today. That's it. And he walked him. Abreu gets another walk, his second of this game. So Verlander had retired 8 straight prior to that walk. That's going to bring up Vernon Wells. A couple of fly balls for Wells in this game. 0 for 2.
It's really no coincidence, people, that Abreu has walked twice in this game today.
He's made a career of drawing some base on balls. Swing and a miss.
When you have very little margin for error, and Verlander really does not have a whole lot of margin for error in this game. His club only leads by 2. And guys like Abreu, who has had success against you, if you fall behind him as he did in that last at bat, 3 balls, no strikes. Okay, go on down to first base. See if we can get Vernon Wells to hit one on the ground to get a double play to get out of the inning.
ABREU came in 5th in the American League in base on balls. 2 more here today. Fly ball right field. Dirks going back to the warning track to make the catch.
Hey fans, this Thursday we'll wrap up a 3-game series against the Texas Rangers on a 105 matinee. Tickets are available now at 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
With 2 outs, here is Callaspo. Talking about ABREU and his penchant for drawing walks. He is 3rd among actives in base on balls. There's ball 1. I should correct myself as proclivity for walks. If Bill Brown's listening, he would get on me for that.
He's listening.
Yes, he is. He takes notes, too.
Yes, he does.
Here's the 1-0. There's the strike on the outer edge. Breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alberto Callaspo. Popped him up.
Staying here.
Shallow left field. Here comes Bosch. Plenty of room for the play, and the inning is over. No runs, a walk, 1 left. Listen to this for JB. Here is our Comerica game summary this afternoon. Tigers on top of the Angels 2-0. Ordonez, a 2-run shot, remains the only scoring in this game. That came back in the 3rd. Weaver 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. Verlander, well, his numbers speak for themselves. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, couple of walks. The only 2 base runners for the Angels today.
Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers with the MLB.com at Bat11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch, tracking video, highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Tigers.com for all the details you need.
Well, Jared Weaver back to the hill, and he will face Victor Martinez, Johnny Peralta, and Carlos Guillen on a stunning day here in the Motor City. Beautiful afternoon for baseball. Big crowd on hand. Two of the top pitchers in the game squaring off here today, and it's been as advertised. I don't think anybody's been disappointed this afternoon. Victor Martinez scrolls to the plate. He'll lead things off. Tigers themselves have managed only 3 hits against the offerings of Jared Weaver. First pitch in for a strike on Victor. 1 for 2 for Martinez today. Had a single to lead off the second. The Tiger hits singles by Bosch and Martinez, and the homer to Ordonez. Kelly also has a walk, and he scored on the Maglio homer. Neither one of these starters today have thrown fewer than 100 pitches in any start this year. Here's the 0-2. Got him. Strike 3. Victor called up. 11 straight retired for Jared Weaver.
Weaver frozen with an 81-mile-per-hour changeup inside. Usually the changeup to a left-hander is fading down and away from him. But very strategically, Weaver threw that ball inside. Most left-handers don't get changeups inside from right-handed pitchers.
Ball 1 to Peralta.
Steady diet of breaking balls this afternoon to Peralta. And he struck him out on his 2 plate appearances today.
Weaver about to throw his 100th pitch. Swing and a miss.
He's got some serious command. His only base on balls today came back to haunt him, and that was in the 3rd when he walked Kelly to lead off the 3rd inning.
And he also threw 20 pitches that frame, the most of any other inning. Here's the 1-1. Ball high, 2 balls, 1 strike. Pulled foul. 2-2 on Peralta. Fly ball right field. Hit pretty good, but it appears to be playable. Edge of the warning track for Torrey Hunter. 2 gone here in the 7th. And 12 straight retired by Weaver. Tigers have not had a base runner since the Ordonez home run in the 3rd. One and two on Carlos, who's had a tough day today against Weaver. He's fanned twice against him.
And Weaver has been moving that fastball all over the plate today. He's gone up and in, up and away, down at the knees, on the outer edges as well, and the inside corner. And mixing in lots of off-speed pitches with a variation of different speeds. When you go up against a guy like Weaver or Verlander for that matter, as a hitter, you pretty much have to slice the plate in half. And you have to make the determination before the game starts. Either I'm going to look inside or I'm going to look outside. And when you get a pitch in that area, regardless of the pitch, you can't miss it.
Two and two. Eight strikeouts for Weaver today. Verlander has fanned 7. Three and two on Carlos Guillen. Trying to keep it going here for Alex Avila. And the 3-2 pitch. High drive, deep right field, way back to the track, to the wall. It's gone. Carlos Guillen has made it 3-0.
He's issuing warnings right now because of this.
Was talking with a home plate umpire.
Carlos Guillen watched the home run and Weaver did not appreciate it. He had some words for Carlos Guillen, and the home plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt, he saw it right away. And he got out there and had a very lengthy conversation with Jared Weaver. And after that conversation, he determined, I need to warn both of these teams right now.
Here is Alex Avila. Oh, he's going to be thrown out of the game. Weaver thrown out his head.
He didn't care.
Oh, look at Weaver wanting to take on the dugout now. He is coming unraveling. Well, you can't throw at somebody's head. Weaver walking right off the mound. You knew that was coming, but come on now. Weaver is hot.
Well, he's upset about Carlos Guillen watching the home run. That's what he's upset about. And even though he was warned, he really didn't care.
Alex Avila, the unlucky participant that had to follow that home run. So it didn't take long for Wendelstedt to throw Weaver out of this game. On what was a beautifully pitched ball game on both sides, unraveling now for Weaver. There's no doubt Carlos watched this one, had a little bat flip and a little stare at Weaver. See, I understand, Rob, that you're upset, but when you start coming at the head, that just ain't right.
No, it's not.
I mean, that's my opinion, but
he wasn't trying to hit him. He was simply trying to send a message. And he knew he was going to get thrown out of the game. But you're absolutely right. When you are pitching, that is one area where the ball should not be thrown up around the guy's head.
And even as Guillen was rounding the bases, I mean, the conversation between Wendelstedt and Weaver was ongoing.
Well, that's why Hunter Wendelstedt issued warnings. How many times have you seen a warning issued
Never.
like that?
Yep, you're right.
That might be the first time I've ever seen a warning issued after that type of a situation, where the home plate umpire goes out and has a conversation with the particular pitcher, and he determines, you know what, I need to warn both sides here.
And hence the ejection after the very next pitch. So we'll get a pitching change here as Weaver comes out of the game. Wallside Windows pitching change. We'll be back. and the Carlos Guillen home run to make it 3-0. He stared down Weaver and watched his home run, and as a result, Weaver threw at the next hitter and was ejected, and now Takahashi will take over for the Angels out of their bullpen.
He's had a really good year out of that bullpen, pitching in his 42nd game. He has an earned run average just a shade over 3. 39 strikeouts and 44 in the third innings this year for Takahashi, and only 18 base on balls given by the left-hander.
So with all this going on right now, Justin Verlander still chilling in the dugout.
And a lengthy sit down for Justin Verlander. Lengthy sit down.
The numbers on Verlander: 7 strikeouts, and again, the only 2 base runners the Angels have had, the 2 base on balls to Bobby Abreu. That's it.
Hey, Tigers fans, it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or to sell the tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
So Jared Weaver has been thrown out of the game, as has Mike Scioscia, the manager, and Carlos Guillen, after homering, admired it and had words with Weaver, and that's when the fireworks started. So with Scioscia now in the dugout, Piccolo, his bench coach, you assume, will take over. Mike Butcher to his right, the pitching coach. But an interesting day here at the ballpark. Just got a little bit more interesting. Meanwhile, Alex Avila will face the new pitcher Takahashi with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Avila was the very next hitter after the home run by Guillen, and Weaver's pitch sailed over his helmet. So Takahashi continues to heat up. Tigers have done all their scoring on a pair of home runs in this game. Ordonez a 2-run shot and the solo homer by Carlos.
Takahashi will get as much time as Hunter Wendelstedt, the home plate umpire, determines he needs in this situation.
Gabby's having some fun.
Yes, he is.
Oh, but then when is that not the case? So Takahashi set to go. And here comes Avila now with a count of 1-0. Weaver threw 111 pitches in this game, goes 6 2/3, struck out 8, and he was magnificent as well today. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Avila. Weaver had retired 12 straight prior to the Guillen home run. Now the 1-1 pitch. 1-2 on Alex. A couple of fly balls for Avila. Sky to left field. Vernon Wells coming in. And that's going to do it for Detroit. However, they had another big insurance run, the home run by Guillen, and Verlander now leads 3-0. By Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Dodge, visit Dodge.com or see your local dealer today. Well, we go to the 8th inning. Tigers on top 3-0. And Justin Verlander climbs back on top of the hill in what has been a masterfully pitched game. And Verlander takes the mound as the crowd gets into it now. Eric Ibar will lead things off, and Mark Trumbo and Peter Borges. 7 Verlander strikeouts this afternoon. And Ibar drops down a bunt back toward Verlander. Justin fires it away. Ibar is on his way to second base.
I don't think that's going to be a hit, though. I don't think it's going to be an error.
The crowd doesn't like the fact that he's bunting here.
E1.
And Verlander now staring out at the runner at second base. And it's an error. E1.
It's a good call. If Verlander makes a good throw, he gets Ibar out, even though Ibar has good speed.
Going to bring up Trumbo. An error charge to Verlander.
All the etiquette as far as baseball is completely thrown out the window with this particular game, and Weaver throwing over the head of Alex Avila after both teams were warned. So as far as him bunting there, Ibar, they're not happy with the way things have transpired here. They don't care about baseball etiquette here today.
1 strike on Mark Trumbo. Strike out and a ground out. They've had 2 base runners today, 2 walks, and now an error. Avila blocks it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
These types of situations are where Verlander has turned in some of his best work this year. Runners in scoring position with nobody out. We will see a 100-mile-per-hour fastball at some point in time, maybe a couple in this 8th inning.
That home run by Guillen, as controversial as it was, with what transpired after it, a huge tack-on run for Detroit in 7th. Angels getting their first man in scoring position in this game. And now Verlander wants his catcher Avila to come out to the mound.
In case you're wondering how much and how long Verlander sat in the bottom half of the 7th inning, it was a little over 20 minutes. That's not the last one we're going to see.
1-2 on Mark Trumbo. Verlander now here in the 8th inning attempts to pitch around the leadoff error. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Victor has it. There's out number 1. Advance the runner.
Another 100-mile-per-hour fastball to Trumbo by Verlander. There's not many guys walking around in major league uniforms these days that are closing in on 100 pitches thrown and can still dial up and get that kind of velocity.
97 pitches thrown by Verlander. Here's Borges with a man at third. A couple of ground balls in this game. Fouled off. 0-1 on Borges. Verlander facing the bottom third of the lineup here.
Infield playing at the cut of the grass on the corners and playing at their regular positions up the middle.
Ground ball to third. Kelly is going to come home. And dropped by Verlander, and the run scores. Everybody is safe.
Another error. Wow. You could kind of see it coming in situations like these where you get the runner in a position where they're pretty much giving you an out by Ibar leaving early on the ground ball. You want to keep it out of the pitcher's hand. Even if Verlander holds on to this ball, we might have seen an interference call, because Ibar clearly ran right into Verlander here.
Here is Howie Kendrick. He's going to pinch hit for Mathis, and he takes strike one. So Borges reaching on a fielder's choice. Ibar scoring their first run. Here's the 0-1. Just off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kendrick fouls it back out of play. 99 miles an hour. 1-2 on the pinch hitter Kendrick. Borges at second base. Tigers lead 3-1. We're in the 8th. Two and two. Ibar bunted to start out the 8th. Reach on throwing error by Verlander. A ground ball advanced into third. A ground ball to third baseman Don Kelly. Kelly tried to get the out at home. It was ruled a fielder's choice and an RBI for Borges. The 2-2. Foul straight back. Kendrick stays alive.
How did you get an RBI out of that?
Trying to figure that in my mind right now. I'm just reporting what they told me. Two and two. Kendrick waiting patiently as Avila goes through the signs. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Kendrick is out of there. 2 gone. 8 strikeouts for Verlander.
Power changeup at 88 miles an hour by Verlander, who is throwing his changeup a lot harder here today. Usually the changeup for Verlander is right around 83 to 84 miles an hour.
Here is MAICER IZTURIS. Borges remains at second base. 2 outs now. And a strike called on IZTURIS. 0 for 3 in this game. Ground ball, line out, strikeout. And there's a base hit to left field. Here comes Borges rounding third. And the throw to the plate is not in time. And to second base goes IZTURIS. And Verlander's no-hitter is gone. Here comes Jeff Jones. Little session here to reset Verlander. Now that the no-hitter is gone. Not only that, but the tying run now is at second base, a 3-2 ball game.
It's a gamble here by Dino Ebel, the third base coach of the Angels, because that ball was in Brennan Bosch's glove when Borges, the base runner, was hitting third base, but he has tremendous speed. And apparently he was being led by somebody in the on-deck circle as to which way to slide because he changed midstream. And he may have been out. I don't know if he gets on the plate. Appeared to be a very nice block of home by Avila.
So now here is Torii Hunter with the tying run at second base in a 3-2 ball game. And strike one to the outer edge. Verlander now trying to regroup here.
Just about every fastball that Verlander has thrown in this inning has reached 100 miles an hour.
He slings that one high and away at 101.
How about the wackiness of the bottom half of the seventh and the top half of this inning?
It's nothing like I've seen in a while. Meanwhile, Papa Grande warming up now.
In a game where a pitcher was throwing a no-hitter.
And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Hunter tardy on 101. Verlander just letting it all hang out now.
I think Verlander understands that Hunter might be the last hitter that he faces in this game today.
Here comes the crowd. And the 1-2.
I don't even know how you foul a pitch off like that. After a guy threw you a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, how in the world are you able to foul this pitch off?
I was thinking the same thing. How do you touch that pitch?
I mean, the knees buckled and somehow Torii was still able to put the ball in play, foul it off.
Guys at this level are just unbelievable. They really, really are. The 1-2. Ground ball, foul.
Torii upset with himself. He got a hanging breaking ball there from Verlander and simply was too quick on it.
Which I guess is an excusable offense when, again, as you mentioned, you're facing 101.
Yes, you have to jump out there. And a lot of times you jump at arm speed. And that's when Verlander will drop that lollipop curveball in there on you.
1-2 on Torii Hunter. And it's foul down the right field line. Again, Verlander coming in at triple digits.
Nice battle here by Hunter, who came in with good numbers against Verlander. A 300 hitter coming into play today in 40+ at-bats.
IZTURIS, the tying run at second base, 3-2. Tigers lead the Angels. 7 2/3 of no-hit baseball for Verlander before the IZTURIS base hit broke it up. He struck him out. Exclamation point. No hitter is over, but there's still a game on the line.
Got Weaver earlier in this game, and Weaver wasn't happy about that because he had some words for Cabrera when Cabrera made the last inning out of that inning, and then Carlos Guillen. Yeah, Weaver did not like the fact that Carlos Guillen kind of watched the ball go out of the ballpark, and they had some words for each other. Both benches were worn, but Weaver didn't care. He still threw over the head of Avila. He was ejected. His manager also was ejected, but it also seemed like it energized their dugout because they went out, got a hit, and scored 2 runs in that next half inning.
I agree. There's no doubt it seemed to. And now the Tigers come here in the bottom of the 8th inning, leading by a run. Don Kelly will start things off. We have a new catcher now for the Angels. Bobby Wilson comes on after they pinch hit for Jeff Mathis. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kelly walked, scored on the Maglio home run back in the 3rd. Little pop up, shallow right field. Hunter coming on, and Kelly is out. 1 gone here in the 8th. Top of the order coming up now, Austin Jackson. Well, with the no-hitter gone now, all that's left for the Tigers here is to put this one in the win column, and they are protecting a 1-run lead at this point. It's going to be ABREU, Wells, and Callaspo.
And more than likely, they'll be going up against Valverde.
Here is Jackson, and he looks to strike 1. 3 runs, 4 hits, Detroit. 2 runs, 1 hit for the Angels. Slow roller hit towards second is IZTURIS, and there are 2 gone. By the way, the 2 runs scored against Verlander in the top of this inning are unearned runs. So he has gone 8, giving up 2, and they're both unearned, which obviously makes a difference in the ERA. Here's Brendan Bosch. Popped him up. Shortstop Ibar, and a quick inning for Takahashi. We'll go to 9. 3-2. Papa Grande coming in. To a grand entrance.
They love him.
And it'll be his job to protect the slimmest of leads. Tigers on top of this one 3-2. And here are the numbers on Jose Valverde.
He's been perfect in these types of situations. 27 of 27 in save opportunities.
So Valverde will have to get 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup for the Angels. Bobby Abreu will lead it off. We also have a defensive change. Ryan Rayburn takes over in left. Abreu has walked twice in this game. And strike one on Bobby Abreu. Last time the Angels were no hit was in 1999. They came close today. 7 2/3 for Verlander before the IZTURIS hit. Here's the 0-1. On the outer edge, 0-2 on Abreu. Papa Grande trying to save Verlander's 15th win. He would join CC Sabathia.
And equally as important as that 15th win is, the Tigers will split in this 4-game series.
Ball low, 1-2. KC on top of Cleveland by a run there in the 8th at Progressive Field. Slap foul back out of play. Tigers coming into play here today, leading Cleveland by a game and a half. Chicago 3 out. The Angels meanwhile were trailing Texas by 2 in the West. Missed it high. 2-2 on Abreu. Day off tomorrow for the ball club. And then those Rangers come calling.
Rangers have a really good team with an outstanding starting staff.
They have Beltre and Cruz out of the lineup, though. Beltre on the DL. Here's the 2-2. Ooh. Ooh, 3-2. A touch low. And the 3-2. Walked in. Leadoff man is on. Abreu is down to the count 0-2, and now the tying run is aboard as he walks for the 3rd time today. There's Vernon Wells. Faced Papa Grande twice. He's 1 for 2 against him. Tigers outfield playing deep here. Wells in this game is 0 for 3. Ground ball towards short on the backhand. Peralta goes to second one. Relay not in time.
He jammed Vernon Wells with a good fastball, two-seam variety inside, and Peralta, once he picked it, he wanted to make sure he gave Guillen a really firm feed to see if they could turn it over, but Wells runs pretty well for a big center fielder. Actually, he's a left fielder these days, but he has decent speed.
Here's Callaspo. Tigers led 3-0. Angels got 2 in the 8th. And a ball out. No, a strike on the outer edge. Callaspo, ground ball, a couple of fly balls. Runner goes, and a big jump. Avila's throw, not nearly in time. So the tying run now in scoring position. ABREU steals his 16th.
It did not take MAICER very long to determine whether he could give Vernon Wells the steal sign here or not. Vernon took off, got a real good jump, and stole the base successfully, but Valverde did not give Avila an opportunity at all.
One ball, one strike on Callaspo.
Check that. MAICER has been kicked out of this game, so that call must have come from someone else. Maybe even Griffin, the first base coach, who has a stopwatch in his hand, and he knew Valverde was very slow getting that ball to home plate. And there's Alfredo.
Two and one on Callaspo. Now it's 3-1. Eric Ivar waiting on deck. Strike call. Callaspo was headed to first base. Not so fast.
And Valverde on this 3-2 pitch is going to have to be a quality pitch. Somewhere in that same area that he made that last pitch to Callaspo. If Hunter Wendelstedt is going to call that a strike. Callaspo does not strike out very often, and more than likely he's going to put the ball in play with authority somewhere.
In the air toward left field. Ryan Rayburn backing up. Catch is made. Wells will tag, but hold. Rayburn guns it back in. 2 gone. Now here comes the crowd. Almost 37,000 as Eric Ivar steps in. We've gone from cheers to boos. Ivar bunted in the 8th inning with Verlander's no-hitter in progress. He eventually reached on throwing error by Verlander and then scored a run. One more out to get for Valverde. Ball 1.
Have to be very careful here with Ibar. He is their best hitter with runners in scoring position. He's hitting over 300.
ABREU led it off with a walk. Wells forced him at second. Wells then stole a bag. Popped him up. See if it stays in play. Kelly has room. Tigers win. Grande made it interesting, but a win is a win is a win. And another save for the big fella.
28 in a row.
And the Tigers earned the split in what turned out to be a spirited end to this ball game. Verlander and Weaver did not disappoint today. And the Tigers hold out for a 3-2 victory. Back with more from Comerica Park. Tigers get a split in the 4-game set.